Welcome back to Tabletop Jason. I'm Jason, and today we're going to take a look at this gem. It's called Last Defense. It's a game created by Prospero Hall, published by Funko Games. It's for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up. You may recall I recently unboxed it. Well, I've had the chance to play it, and I've got to say, this game is a lot of fun. So we'll go over the rules, and I'll give you some quick thoughts at the end. So let's see how to set this guy up. So the initial setup of the game, there's a lot that goes into it before you start playing. The first thing you do is you lay out the board, and then you separate this pile called rubble, and this pile, which is the random scientists. We'll get to that in a minute. Make sure they're shuffled up. You take the 5 monster cards, put them face down, so it's the black and white side. That means they're not in use yet. And then put the monster tokens on top of them. There's the space aliens, the sentient plants, the spider robots, the junk blob, and of course, the giant tentacles. It's kind of like 50s monster movies, isn't it? And then you pick your character. The characters are identical with the exception that they each have a safe location. So the nurse has the hospital, the skateboarder has the shopping mall. And here's the hospital, there's the shopping mall. Put their players' cards there. And the board is set up. And now for the tricky part. This game cannot be played without an app. You can get the app at any of your app stores. It's just called Last Defense. If you search for it, you'll be able to find it. So the app guides you through the rest of the setup. It has you click these options. Have you read all pages of the instructions? Well, we'll say yes. Have you completed the steps of the setup? We have. Is everyone ready to begin playing? They are. You pick your beginner or experience level and hit next. Okay, so we'll pause it here. And before we listen to what the newscaster is going to say, I'll tell you real quick what's going to happen. She'll tell us the locations of where token stacks will be placed. The token stacks are just this. It's what's called a rubble and a scientist. So the goal is once they're placed, your characters will turn over the rubble and it'll tell you what tools they need to free the scientist. So like in this case, it's a biologist. So these are the token stacks. I think it'll be quicker if we make 5 of them and just have them ready to place. And then we'll listen to the app and place them randomly. So this is why you need the app. It does the randomization part. It tells you where to put the scientists and where to put the monsters. So let's go.
We interrupt our regular programming to bring you this important news. We have reports around the city of damage caused by unknown monsters. We have people trapped at these locations. The gardens. The megastore. The hospital. The neighborhood. And the zoo. First responders are overwhelmed and are calling on local citizens to help in this crisis. You are our last defense. Good luck.
Okay, we say yes, they're placed, and then we start the timer. So when we play, the players just take turns going to these locations and trying to free the scientists. What they do is roll. You've got 2 dice, 1 dice for movement and 1 dice for tools. So when you roll both dice, and you can re-roll once, but you have to roll both dice and accept the final results. The movement, you can move up to the number you roll. You could move 0 if you want to stay on the space, or you could go till you find your desired location. The other dice shows how many tools you draw. Tools are over here, and you can only have up to 5 in your hand at the end of your turn. So sometimes you have to discard. And if you land on a space with another player, you can trade tools. And then the final rule will be threats. These are the monsters. They'll be randomly placed on spaces throughout the game. If there's a monster on a space, a player can't go to that space unless they have a flare, which is one of the tools. It must distract the monster enough to get you in the space, or if it's their safe space. So if there's a monster at the hospital, the nurse can still go to the hospital and try to rescue the scientists. The skateboarder can go to the shopping mall to do the same. So when you rescue the scientists, you take them to the middle and drop them off. And then if you have the right scientist, each monster requires 2 different scientists to kill it. And you find that when they're flipped over. You win the game when all the monsters are defeated. This is the easier level, which I think has 4 monsters instead of 5. So we'll start the timer, and you just take turns playing in real time. And we'll do this for a little bit just so you can get a sense of it. It says, are you ready to start the timer? Yes, you must defeat 4 threats to win. The monsters are called threats. So let's do it. So, pink player rolls. Oh yeah. We will. Whoever's birthday comes up next goes first. So like my birthday's in March, so if I was playing with a bunch of people, I might go first. I don't know. Doesn't matter when it's just me. So we rolled a 2. He can get 1 tool, and it's the binoculars, and go up to 2 spaces. So we'll go over here. He'll flip the rubble. So to defeat, or to rescue this scientist, he would need these 2 tools. He can't do it, so his turn's over. Yeah, it's the skateboarder's turn. She rolled 3 tools. 1, 2, whoops. 1, 2, 3. She's got those tools. We'll just keep them over here. And she can go up to 2 spots. 2 spots will not take her. Oh yeah, well, it'll take her to the hospital. So we'll flip the hospital. She needs a rope and a flare. She doesn't have it, so she can't rescue that scientist. Nurse goes again. He gets 1 tool. That will not help him get that. He can go 2 spaces, so he's going to go to the zoo, see if he can help out that scientist. He needs a flare and a pliers. He has neither. His turn is over. Skateboarder draws 1 tool. She's got a pliers. It won't help her. So she can go 2 spaces. She's going to work her way towards the mega store. Nurse goes again. He can draw 1 tool. A fire extinguisher. That would help him here, but he doesn't have a megaphone. But he's still going to go that way, just in case. His turn's over. Skateboarder. So you see, you want to go fast and just try to get as much done as you can. Oops, you draw before you move. So she gets 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, as you see, she's got more than 5 tools. If she has more than 5 at the end of her turn, you have to discard. Let's see. Can she rescue this? Whoops. Ooh, discard any 3 tools to rescue that one. Uh-oh. You hear this, though.
We have a new report that space aliens appear to be landing at the megastore.
Oh, no.
Space aliens are landing at the megastore.
And that's where she's at. So when space aliens, I'm going to pause. When space aliens attack, you flip it over and you put them where it says. So now you see the card. It says you need an astrophysicist and a meteorologist to defeat the space aliens. It goes here. And since there was a player on the space, that player drops any scientist she has, and she actually had this one because she was in the process of getting it, so. But that scientist stays there. The rubble is discarded, and she's sent to the rest area. So that's too bad. And then if there's still remaining scientists in rubble, a new one appears. So now if anyone goes to that space, they can just take this scientist. That one they'd still have to rescue. So it that's what happens if you get touched by a monster. The monsters don't kill you, they just take your scientist and send you back. So now we will resume. Normally you're not supposed to pause, but you know, we're going over the rules. So it is the nurse's turn. He doesn't see anything he can rescue, so he's gonna roll. He gets 2 tools, so that's good. He's been just drawing ones all game, right? He's got the binoculars, 2 pairs of binoculars. Man, he can't do a lot with those binoculars, but he can sure see far. He has really no reason to move. Well, actually no, he'll start moving this way to uncover that. So he rolled a 2, so he can go 1, 2. Can't rescue that, his turn's over. It's Skateboarder's turn. She can go 4 spaces, she draws 1 card. Megaphone, so megaphone and, she's still, uh-oh.
Our top story tonight, we have reports that sentient plants have overgrown the zoo. Repeat, sentient plants have overgrown the zoo.
Okay, sentient plants take a biologist and a chemist. We flip them over, we're at the zoo. He doesn't have any scientists to drop, but he goes back to the safe space. And now I believe it was her turn. She went 1, 2, 3. Okay. So let's see if she can rescue this. And she can rescue that scientist. So she discards those 2 tools, and she gets, it's a helicopter, it's not a scientist. So a helicopter you can discard at any point during your turn, and it'll take you to any space on the board. We'll place it on her player card. And another monster. Sometimes these are new monsters, and sometimes, you know what, we forgot to place a new monster.
The spider robots are on the move to the mega store. Repeat, spider robots are moving to the mega store.
Spider robots take an astrophysicist and an engineer. You want to stay away from that megastore, huh? And whenever you have available scientists, you put a new pile of rubble whenever there's a new monster. Okay. Whose turn was it? I don't know. We'd remember if it was a normal game. I believe it's the nurse's. So he gets 1 tool, a megaphone, and fire extinguisher. He can take care of that. He can go 3 spaces. Okay, he's got that, so he discards these 2 pieces. I'd like to play another helicopter. I'd like to play until we can defeat a monster. We'll see if that ever happens. I shouldn't have shuffled all those helicopters. Oh no! We got another monster coming.
Breaking news. The giant tentacles have been seen in the water near the garden. Repeat, giant tentacles are in the water at the garden.
Biologist and engineer. And they are at the gardens. So that sends her back to the rest area. When you have to discard your scientists after a monster lands on you, you don't discard your helicopters. Okay, so the hospital. Okay, there's nothing we can really. Oh, you know what? And I forget. This is the problem. I keep forgetting to place new rubble. Okay. So this is his turn. He gets 3 new tools. 1, 2, 3. A flare, a rope, and a ladder. So is there anything he can do? Wow, every space. Look at that, a rope and a flare. Yeah, monsters. So the aliens move to the neighborhood, and there's a new rubble pile there. And our nurse just rescued the engineer. Okay, it's the nurse's, oh wait, she's got to discard down to 5, so she'll discard those. Okay, and it is the nurse's turn. He draws 1. It's another flare. He'll go just 1 spot to drop off his scientist. And now, finally, with this combination, he can kill any monster he wants, it looks like. So let's kill the sentient plants. So you have these 2. So then those 2 scientists are discarded, and this flips back over, and the sentient plants are out of the game. So that's how you kill a monster. It's usually not this hard. We just had bad rolls. Let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, when you defeat one, you go back to the app. We defeated the sentient plants. So you mark it off. There. So that's how it knows when you defeat. So just for fun, let's say we killed them all, just to show how it ends. We killed that one, and let's say we kill this one, and let's say we kill that one. And then you win! So at times it can be a frustrating game, but it's generally a ton of fun. When you have a group, you know, if I played it, me and 2 of my kids, and we're all playing and just kind of taking turns, you can trade more often. The monsters jumping all over is kind of frustrating. But I think that's all the rules. Closing thoughts, would I recommend this game? I would totally recommend this game. Especially, it says ages 8 and up. My 3 oldest kids are 5, 7, and 9, and all 3 of those play it well. I mean, we have to help the 5-year-old a little bit, but the 7 and 9-year-old do just fine with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good party game. Because of the timer, you know, it'll only go 20 minutes if you're playing with grown-ups. With kids, I tend to pause a little bit more, just like with 5-Minute Dungeon and that type of game. But that should do it for this review. I hope the rules made sense to you. I will be back next week with another video. So until then, be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't forget to watch it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.